Here's a question which is honestly worth asking. That is, you have been skipping sugar in your chai for 3 to 4 months, but still you can't see that much of a difference, right? And you might be wondering if any of this even matters, like leaving sugar and all. So we're going to talk about that. Now, a single teaspoon of sugar carries roughly 16 calories. Mind you, I'm talking about teaspoon and not tablespoon. So if you have to consider for the tablespoon, you can roughly 3x the quantity about which I'm talking about. Now, 3 teaspoon is basically 48 calories from sugar. Over a week, that is 336 calories. Over a month, somewhere around 1300 calories. In isolation, that sounds significant, but here is what the science tells us. Fat loss is governed by total energy balance across your entire dietary pattern, not by the removal of one ingredient from one of the beverages. So, the important point is that if the rest of your nutrition is unstructured, if your overall caloric intake is consistently above your expenditure, skipping sugar in chai basically doesn't help you a lot. Skipping sugar in chai moves the needle so marginally low that it is statistically invisible against the backdrop of your total caloric intake. The research on weight loss is unambiguous on this. Small isolated changes like in your nutrition and everything that you're trying to incorporate produces small isolated results. And what is the larger environment for us? It's everything on which we are not paying the attention, like way too extra carb, way too extra snack. So the problem most people run into is that they make one visible easy change: skip the sugar. Okay, switch to brown rice because this is what we have heard all the time. Stop drinking juices and unconsciously treat it as a permission to be less disciplined everywhere else because now I'm not having sugar. So that's a big task, so I can have something else. The science call that compensation. Now, what you are essentially doing here is that you save 50 calories consciously and spend 200 elsewhere without even noticing. And that's where your scale never goes down. So then question arises, does skipping sugar in chai even matter? Yes, in some context. But if it is the only part of the picture, like if that is the only thing you have changed, nothing else, then you are not in a deficit. And essentially, you are just drinking a bitter chai. So you stripped off the sugar. Now you don't like the tea. Still you are having it. There is no added benefit. So what I'll ask you to do is that it's better to have like maybe 1 cup or 2 cup of tea if you like to have it. It's not essential, obviously, but then you have to focus on the things which moves the needle. So that's like cleaning up your entire day's structure, portion size, not having snacks a lot, adding more dietary fat and protein, more fiber, veggies, removing the portion size of rice and roti. So that's how you move the needle for the fat loss and not in isolation by removing the sugar from the tea.